Welcome to Draw Process. I'm Ike, drawing pages of my comic books and processing about my development and the techniques I use. This is a full page, start to finish. The webcomic can be read on my website. We have these soldiers here. This one is the commander, the captain, his right-hand man has been decapitated by the lizard man, and he's in shock. And then we're going to see Farah spring into action, taking weapons from the two men behind her, incapacitating them, and she will hand one of the swords to Sun and let him know they're going to have to fight together. They're going to have to fight the lizard man. So this first panel shows the bloody large hand, the paw of Kurok, the lizard man. We're going to see blood on that left hand streaming down. When I first started to pencil, I put it on his right hand, but then I remembered it's actually the left hand that had done the blow. So that's what the first panel is. We've got everything in a nice straight line, his head, the two hands of the lizard man. It's a close up. It's not showing everything. It's meant to hit you in the gut, this kind of image. And now I've got a very dynamic panel. Again, that if you thought of it as just a gesture, just some kind of the angle, the shape and positive and negative shapes of that panel. That second one has a very different V shape or an angled presentation. But working out those figures, the poses, Farah kicking this man in the face and taking his sword at the same time. Now, as I've said before, I try to capture more than one action in a panel. I want to add complexity, bring it to life more. So she's grabbing his sword and holding it pulling it away from him while she kicks him in the face. And you can tell that his arm's getting stretched back, that his hand is losing its grip. I want to convey all of that in the figures that I've drawn. I didn't fully do a full establishing shot of Farah kicking that guy, but we've seen one on the last page. You're trying to decide, how much do I need to show? What's the right kind of rhythm, dynamics here? And it seems right that was the size, that it focuses on the kick, the impact. It makes it more impactful. And but it shows enough of the scene to establish Farah and the guy she's kicking. And then from there, I could zoom in even more and really focus on the punching the second guy. And then show her with both swords in front of her. That's when I decided, go to the establishing shot. Let's show the physical space once again, the standoff between Kurok and Farah and Sun. Now, notice the angle of this. I've got, with the camera being kind of low, the horizon low, we're looking up at Farah and Sun, and it allows me to align their heads and get the right size for the heads and the word balloon. It's like small, medium, large in a row here. If you put the camera in just the right position, so to speak, metaphorically, you're able to capture that. But she's a lot taller than him, I can't just... I am moving the camera around to get the sizes, to get the shapes and sizes and positions that I need of the important elements. When she kicks the guy in the head, when she punches the guy in the face, this shot where she holds out the sword, and what's important is her head, his head, the sword. I want you to see all three elements. Well, where does the camera have to be? and how are the actors going to move? And I kind of imagine and feel what the actors would do, and then I position the camera to capture what I need to capture. Try not to do it in the opposite way. Don't have your characters change their position. Don't let your actors not do what's natural in order for you to be able to draw it. That's something I've learned. One of these guiding principles that I'm developing clearer thinking on this, thanks to this video series where I have to talk about it and think about it all the time. I'm so glad to have this where I get to think about what I'm doing and articulate it. Very helpful for me. But again, that principle is don't have your actors change what they're doing so that you can capture it, so you can draw it. Let it be what's natural, what feels right, and then you do the work to move the camera. You draw a more difficult angle on a figure with more foreshortening. Whatever's needed, draw it. That's your job, and that will make you better at drawing, and it will allow you to be more free. You'll be expressing yourself. You'll be letting the actors, which are you. It's me. It's my own mind, almost like, parts of me that are acting this out. But let them freely act. Let me freely capture that. No restriction. And then there's style. There's authenticity that develops from that, and improved skill. So I come in with an H or a 2H pencil versus maybe a 4H on the initial pencils. That lighter pencil, I use it for the thumbnails to make sure I don't put too much detail because it's too light to even bother. And then by going with a darker pencil, now a heavier pencil, I can obviously see what is new and what is old. So I get a new layer on it. I used to use blue pencil or even red pencil to create that layering, and now I just do it in regular pencil. And you'll see, I add in the details, but I'm mostly sticking with the composition that was established in the rough sketching phase. In this panel, you'll see that I realized that this panel really should have a background. It's not just the sky behind them. At this angle, we would see some of the boat behind them. So you'll see that I add that in here. When I've noticed when I draw and I go for details, I find certain bony landmarks on the head or face. I add in more of the muscle and skeletal structure of the form. When I'm finding those things, when I'm scribbling them in and they're not perfectly accurate, I'm not an expert at it. I'm always getting better. But when I'm finding those things, it's because it really does help me find things. Like when I drew her hand punching him on the left here, I knew it didn't look right around the wrist. So I had to go in and think through the pieces of it, what are the bones and everything doing. And I found that what seemed to be missing is the wrist, the forearm bones and wrist region. It was as if that was just not there. So putting in a little more construction helped me find what was wrong with the drawing. I remember when I was newer at drawing comics, when I started, maybe 11 years ago, I remember, drawing an arm, doing that punch. I would draw whatever the panel needs, and then kind of erasing and redrawing and I still do, but struggling people to look the same from different angles, and just kind of having to erase and redraw. I lacked a lot of an anatomy knowledge and skill that I've developed, constructive, approaches to drawing figures and form. And so I would just have to erase and do it again. But now, if I start to do it and it's wrong, I'm like, okay, let me start to construct and find the mistake and fix it, not just make a second attempt that's shooting in the dark and then erasing and trying again. I want to eliminate, shooting in the dark here. I want it to be, I know what I'm doing. And there's kind of a strange balance with that. It's kind of odd that you want to draw with, I want to draw with decisiveness in my strokes. But there's still construction being done to get to the decisive point. I don't just draw all of this with no construction underneath, with no work into it. And yet, by adding the construction underneath, I'm able to be more decisive with my lines. Because again, instead of erasing and trying it again, I work on it and get it right. And this, it has me thinking about, students of comic book art that have paid a lot of attention to the different styles, different techniques, like, oh, this is how this person seems to draw noses, how they convey the eye, the mouth, or whatever. They pay attention to these style decisions each person makes, and then they may apply those to their art, and then their drawing starts to look better. That is not the best approach, in my opinion. You can learn from the greats, but that's not the way to do it. I never went that route. I'm drawing from imagination. I'm learning how to construct these things myself. And I've found that the better I get at that, when I look at other people's art, it's not simply, a few lines arranged this way is how they do noses most of the time, and then they have this other angle and they do it maybe this way. Or how they do proportions or whatever. It's, I can see, you have like actual knowledge. Like you can kind of like if you understood psychology and you could understand a person in a deeper way. Like, oh, I see why they do what they do. I see what's going on in their nervous system right now, and so on. Getting to a place of knowledge through, drawing from life, drawing from imagination, doing the work yourself. And then you can look at them and see, oh, okay, I can see how they're trying to convey this in their way. I can see even where their solutions are meant to mask or to compensate. What solutions are meant to compensate for lack in other areas that they have. It's like it becomes terribly fascinating how artists' style reflects their so much going on, their capacities and challenges, the things they make up for maybe with certain approaches. But being able to see through it like that is that's more insightful, that's more interesting than just looking at the surface of it and thinking that looks nice, maybe I should do that. And so that's what I enjoy about other artists. I don't really look at the surface. I don't go, ooh, I really like that surface, that the way their lines look and so on. I'm thinking about it more psychologically, like, do I have insight into what they're doing and how maybe they got to that solution? That's very interesting to me, not the surface of it, the actual illustration. I don't know what you'd say. That'd make me, I don't know, impressionistic in a way. Like, it's not about the actual lines on the page. It's what is it? What is the person trying to express? How does it make me feel? I guess it might be a bit like that. But anyways, the main point here I'm making is to focus on drawing from your imagination, letting the acting and the actors, the characters, do what they need to do. You move yourself, you move the camera around, you draw what you need to for that. You don't take shortcuts, and you don't take shortcuts by looking at how other people convey these things with less lines. You do that work yourself. You learn how to convey what they're doing. And drawing from life and studying anatomy, that will help. The anatomy and constructive work I'm doing allows me to figure out what I'm doing wrong sometimes and fix it on the page, like I said. If I had developed more from a kind of I don't want to say anatomy, but like the sort of the puppet, the marionette, the sort of cylinders and different shapes that make up the human figure. If I had worked more on that kind of constructive figure drawing, then my finished figures would probably have much more consistent proportions. The size of the head, length of the neck, these sorts of things would be more precise. But the dynamic, the flow, the bending and stretching, the dynamics of the figure would be inhibited. Whereas I've moved more towards the skeletal and muscular anatomy, the in dynamic movement of it, in different positions. If you're only learning how to draw the chest and back from a static position, it looks very different when the shoulders move around, when things move. So I chose to focus on the real anatomy and how it's all connected, how it's actually moving, so that I can convey that it in motion in all kinds of positions. And that's different than focusing on like rectangular prisms and cylinders and structure in that sense. But by going that direction, and you'll see me do it in my pencils, it results in something more dynamic. But also, if I skipped any constructive step, then you would see it would be a lot messier. There would be, at some point it becomes stick figures. It becomes too cartoony. It would lack clarity of like impact. Like this leg here, you can see bony landmarks and muscles on this leg. If I didn't put those there, then I wouldn't have been able to find the curve I wanted for the outline of the leg. And if the curves and the outline and everything, if that was lacking too, if it was just an L, if this was just lacking anything clarifying about it, then how do you know it's a leg? And if you do too much of that, then where's the impact? I want the reader to not only empathize with the faces, okay? Like when you see an expression, you might have an emotional reaction to the expression. But I would like readers to connect in their nervous system with the bodies. I want them to empathize with the bodies of the characters. I want them to feel that punch. That is much harder to do. You can draw a stick figure comic with smiley faces and frowny faces, and you can get an emotional impact because that's enough to create it, to get to emotion, affect, connection in the reader. And when we empathize with another person, we are the networks, the neural connection to our own facial expression. So if someone makes a sad face, we might mirror the sad face, or at least that neural system lights up as if we're making the face, and then it has impact. It's not just a logical, oh, that means sad. No, we feel it. It has impact. And I'm trying to accomplish that beyond just face expressions that might get. I don't want simply your, the frowny face of the stick figure could get you to make a frowny face and feel it and connect. But it's going to be hard to connect with a stick figure body. So it's for impact. It's for making it more alive for the reader, bringing it to life for them, making it more vivid, not just in art on the paper, but bring it into their body and bring it to life, and which is going to be in their mind and in their body. Just like the frowny face of the stick figure would come to life in their body too, and into their emotions, understanding of it. So that's why I find it's worth it to construct these figures and not skip that step, because I can add more impact. I can bring it to life. And again, it's not because it looks cooler. It's not because it looks better. It's not so that someone takes it seriously. I mean, maybe to some degree, that's not an unreasonable thing to want people to take your work seriously. So you put a little extra work into it. People have all kinds of reasons, but they're valid, even if it's about the market. But my main reason is to tell a story better, to have more impact, and to be free to, this shot here that I constructed would be hard to construct simply in a cartoon. If I just went straight to the finished, most simple outlines and just positioned the figures, that's still hard to do because this is in perspective. I kind of need to construct that and find the 1 point perspective on each figure as I kind of lay them in, and then find some, and it keeps going from there if I want to bring it to life more. And yeah, because my focus is on expression in that way, the environments are less consistent. I mean, even this shot, it might not be accurate. Like, why is I've got this sail that's rolled up here. I've got it positioned just where it falls between Farah and the lizard man. I made sure that it was at that height so that you're not blocking the view of either of them. But I couldn't leave it out because at this angle, I couldn't find a way to leave it out, and I didn't want to move it any lower down the page because it wouldn't make as much sense compositionally to me. But and I don't want to block these guys down here. I want to spread things out. So I let it go right in between them. So I chose the height at this particular moment. I chose the width of the deck that they're on this side of the boat. But it's chosen the way, it's chosen loosely, the same way I do with figures. There's less focus on that structure being consistent the whole time. Leans it towards cartooning, and it leans it towards expression, and away from mathematical accuracy. I think that's the right choice. It's a human choice. It's away from technology. It doesn't require, because the more precise I get, the more it would, why not? If you're going for precision, you might as well create a 3D model of this boat. You might as well move the camera around in a 3D model, take a picture, and then just why even draw it at that point? At what, you're removing the human element and relying on technology to do it. And it gets to me, it gets further removed from my imagination. I would like direct access, only one step removed from my mind. I want it to be expressed out of me onto the page. Like I've said before, like a performance, like how a dancer would have to perform a dance. It's their body is expressing it. Okay. So, some values I hold, some ways I think about what I'm doing, and how that guides me as I make decisions, all these decisions to complete a page. There's too many decisions to make. So I'm operating, kind of on automatic, based on habit. When I complete these pages, and I have to, notice, okay, but why these habits? Why do I do it that way? Where did that come from? How is that my habit? Am I going to have self-awareness of my, my primate self, and my automatic, systems? Am I just going to let them unfold without any input from me, or am I going to be self-aware, set course for, be organized, have a sense of where I'm trying to get to, and then put work in towards that? I do think that is the way to go. Like that's how humans achieve better than we would if we just go with what's natural. You don't win the Olympics by just doing what feels good that day. You've got to be measuring and paying attention and think and have a goal in mind. And so that helps me. It makes it more. I'm motivated. I know where I'm shooting for, and I can adjust that mark as I go. I have to adjust as I go, as I gain more awareness and make better sense of it. But I couldn't do without it. Like, I'm not going to sit down and draw comics and not think about this. I'm not going to spend my life drawing comics without putting a single thought into it. Like, I'm going to do it this way. That it sets my sights higher, beyond where I'm at. It makes it worth pursuing. So yeah, I hope that helps you with your practice. It is a practice. It's not about that drawing was good or bad. If you're struggling with like self-doubt, like, man, I didn't draw very well today, and then next time, I really like that drawing. Now I'm feeling more confident. That's a sign of lacking vision. The bigger picture of, this is what I'm doing. This is my practice. You have a practice. You're going to win some and lose some, but that's not what you're looking for. You're committed to the the process over time of development, of change, of discipline, in service of the art form, in service of the practice. Be the practice of your art. That's what I say. So, I encourage you all. Be the practice of your art. Encourage others to do the same. Find others who want to do the same, and find ways to help each other do that. And that's what I'm trying to do here. That's what I do with Clever Kaiju. And I'll continue to do my best to be my practice and help, help others with my own, experience. See you next week.